I've been seeing a lot of chatter online about Ralph Lauren Christmas, which according to Google looks a bit like this. That's not what this video is going to look like. I want to push back on the idea that you need to reinvent your Christmas home decor aesthetic each year, follow trends, or try and make your house look like the latest edition of Architectural Digest, and instead encourage decorating to match your own tastes, using decorations that have been collected and made over time, and generally not taking any of this stuff too seriously. So hello and happy holidays. Today I'm going to be indulging myself with something of a quick and lazy video because I'm honestly bloody exhausted, and I thought why not film something that I was going to be doing anyway, which is putting my Christmas tree up and decorating my flat a little bit for the holiday season. But before we do that, let me first start by decorating myself. Done. I knitted this hat over the last couple of days, kind of on a whim, because I really fancied doing some more knitting after I made that little knitted doorstop thing for my downstairs hallway. And eagle-eyed viewers among you may notice that I used a lot of the same wool colours that I used in that doorstop for the plot. I don't know. And now I'm ready to get my Christmas tree out, which I'm not very excited to do because it means getting it down from my scary attic, which I tend to avoid like the plague because every time I open that hatch and pop my head up there, I get flashbacks to that scene from Wreck, which if you've seen it, you'll know the one that I mean. And if you haven't seen it, I'll link a video of it down in the description for some festive fun for you all. Trigger warning though, it is fucking terrifying. Okay, good, secured, hatch reclosed, and we don't have to worry about going back up there until January now. That's the worst bit done. And now we can move on to the fun stuff. I have an artificial tree which I bought for my first Christmas in this flat back in 2020. It is quite a big one. I'm pretty sure it was from Argos, and it was so big in fact that after that first Christmas I couldn't manage to shove it back into the box that it came in, so I keep it wrapped in a selection of IKEA bags, which are lovely and dusty now, which is great because I only just hoovered in here, so I'm gonna have to do it again. But let's unwrap this and get it set up. I think I'm gonna put it somewhere here, kind of half in front of my fireplace. In previous years I have put it more into this corner here, which is actually quite annoying because then it means that it blocks my linen cupboard and I cannot easily access my towels, which becomes a whole thing. So let's try here. That's the middle and the top section of the tree, so that means this one is the bottom. Oh, so sticky. Also, this hat is cute, but it's a little bit annoying. Okay, that's the main tree sections located. Now I do need the tree base, which I'm pretty sure is in with my box of decorations, which is in my cupboard in the hallway. So let's actually go and get that. Need my other ladder for this job. Pretty sure they're in here. This is the one we want. Okay. Yes. Let's actually check that what I think is in here is in here. Ah, yes. Christmas tree base and Christmas decorations galore. Wonderful. Back to the living room. Take these slippers back off now. I was only using them for ladder safety. Right. This is the main thing that we needed. Now we can assemble this tree. So that goes in there like that. And it's gonna go, yeah, there. That'll do. And now we can start fluffing it out. This tree has like built-in fairy lights, which is handy, only the cable of them is obviously well camouflaged with the greenery of the tree, and it makes finding the connector pieces for the three parts of the tree always a bit of a challenge. And last year I remember telling myself that this year I would put some colourful tabs on those connectors so they'd be easier to find, and naturally I did not do that. We can start by putting the plug where the plug socket is. Then let me see if I can find one of these connector bits. Anywhere. Aha, here's the first one. Don't lose sight of it. Second bit of tree. Slot it in first. Oh, I found it straight away this time. Great. Let me connect that as I go. Now the top section, and look at that, it's hanging out waiting for me. Slot that one straight in. That was much easier this year. Last year it took me like half an hour to find them. Let's just quickly test that the lights still work. They do. Fab. And I can still get to my airing cupboard. So all is well, and now we can fluff this tree out. It always looks really sad before you do this, but we are bringing it back to life. I don't really care to partake that much in the real tree versus fake tree debate. Different trees will work for different people. As someone who doesn't drive, it's just not convenient for me to go and have to collect a real tree. And I also thought when I bought this tree that it was something that I would be buying once and keeping for the rest of my life, because while it's not the best top of the range tree you can get, it's a decent enough one that absolutely does the job. And I don't think you want to watch me fluff this out for the next 30 minutes, because that's probably how long it's going to take. So let's do a little before and after transition. The tree has been fluffed, and that did take me ages, and it scratched my hands a lot. I can see why people have children for doing inane jobs like this. Still not perfect, but we are not aiming for perfect. And I would say it's ready enough to start decorating. And the first layer of decorations that I always put on my tree is the tinsel. And I have a selection of both classic tinsel, which as we all know is made of plastic, and this is stuff that I either stole from my parents or bought from charity shops. And I also have my fabric tinsel, which I wrap around this footstool that I made in a previous video. You can watch that on my channel if you like to. I made this for the purposes of storing the large amount of tinsel that I've made. And I'm going to start by wrapping some of this around the tree. So let's unwind it first from its holding place. This is stuff that I made over the course of literally years, and it's just made of cut up pieces of old fabric, old clothes that I had, curtains, bedding, things that I didn't have use for anymore that I knew were not good enough for the charity shop. It's now on this big roll. It's very, very long. I think I have 3 pieces of it, one of which is longer than the other 2, and that one I will set to one side because I'm going to put that down my stairs. I need to figure out which is which. That's one piece. Boop. Second piece and third piece. These 2 are the smaller ones, and they are going to go around my tree. And from unwinding them from one place, we go to winding them onto somewhere else. Starting at the top, I just drape it around. And I'm doing my tree in exactly the same way that I've done it now for years, with the same decorations in more or less the same manner. Obviously, it's not a cookie cutter procedure, but I know what works with the stuff that I've got, and I know I like it this way. And that goes back to what I was saying about not always buying new decorations. I find it absolutely crazy that people will theme their trees differently each year. And what happens to all those decorations that they bought the year before or the year before that? And actually I can also answer that question because I work in a charity shop, and I know exactly what happens to those decorations. They get dumped on us in January, and a lot of the time, because people see them as disposable and like a one-time thing, they've not been taken care of. So by the time they get to us, they're all broken and messed up and tangled, and then we end up having to chuck a lot of them in the bin, and that's just really depressing, unsustainable, and I would say not within the spirit of Christmas, which actually I don't really know what I think the spirit of Christmas is, but I hope that to most people it's not just all about consumerism and what you can buy and what you can show off to other people. Though I do fear that our culture has somewhat made it that way. And yeah, what I was saying about Ralph Lauren Christmas, obviously that's like the hottest trend, and when I was googling it, because to be honest I didn't know what it was, it did say that there was an emphasis on using decorations that you've collected over time, which I absolutely advocate for, and I think that's great. But considering for lots of people it's just a trend, that's not the way that they're going to do it. They're going to go out and buy a load of gold and tartan red classic-y looking Christmas decorations, put them on the tree for a year, and then next year maybe the trend is a pink flamingo Christmas. and everything will be pink flamingos, and that red tartan stuff will get chucked in the bin. I don't know. It is a bit disheartening, but yeah. First layer done. Don't be concerned that it looks a bit tatty at the minute. It's just the base. Let me see if I can remember what some of these things are. This was an old t-shirt that did belong to my dad, then belonged to my mum, then belonged to me and started falling apart, so I cut it up. This was a really ill-fitting dress that I got a stain on, so I cut it up. This was actually a really beautiful top that I wore to death for absolutely years, and it got all holey and moth-eaten, so I cut it up. This was a pair of pyjama trousers, and many such other stories. And now they're on my tree, and we can move on to the glittery plastic tacky tinsel, which is in here. Oh look, also I've got this paper chain thing, which I made out of a load of old photos, because I had a load of photos that I'd taken when I was at uni of various birds, because I was doing a project all about birds, and I had like 3 packs of these really badly composed photos that I didn't know what to do with, so cut them up, made them into a paper chain. So maybe let's dangle that on there next. Stunning. Okay, regular tinsel. This is where we bring the glitz and glam, and where you'll see that my Christmas aesthetic couldn't be any different than a Ralph Lauren Christmas. I like it to be tacky. Like I said, all this tinsel that I have was secondhand, and I wouldn't buy new tinsel because of the microplastics. But I can't pretend that I don't love the tinsel I already have. It's just gaudy and it makes me feel like a child, which maybe that is what I think the spirit of Christmas is. Reclaiming childhood wonder. Let's do this big red bit up and around all the way to the top. Very nice. More silver, some of this, crisscross it in. I'm not particularly precious when I'm decorating a tree. I quite like that it's an assemblage of things. Lots of little individual pieces of tack which become one whole new thing once put together. And you've got to judge it on its entirety, not on the separate elements. So look at this. This I know was tinsel that I stole from my parents. And it's the tiniest little bit. And I'm going to put it there. It's already looking very festive to me. Okay, I think this is the last of the tinsel that we've got. Where needs more. It's also nice to have tinsel a little bit deeper inside the tree because it picks up the shine of some of the lights when they're lit up, so that's always nice. And finally some gold. Let's do it this way. Ugh. Okay, stunning. This is us so far. Very nice, very nice. Now we're all tinselled up, we can move on to the most fun bit, which is the ornaments, of which I have many. I tend to add at least a few ornaments to my collection each year. I try and make most of them, but I also do buy some second hand. And I've only got 2 new ones for 2025, both of which I bought from the charity shop for 10p each. And they are these ones, which are just a couple of little planets, which I thought were just kind of unusual and nice for Christmas. So let's give these the honour of placing them first. Lovely and lovely. I decorated my tree last year with one of my friends, and we did actually run out of spines to hang ornaments onto because of the sheer quantity that I've got. So we ended up doubling them up in some places and just shoving them on wherever we could. My Christmas aesthetic is certainly a maximalist one. I like a lot of tat on my tree, and I'm just going to go about hanging all of the decorations I've got. I'll show you some of the ones if I think they're a bit more notable, and we'll get this all glammed up. Oh, this is one I made last year in the very, very long Christmas video that I put together about making 12 new ornaments, which took me so long to make that I only managed to get it out a few days before Christmas. So if you are wanting more Christmassy content from me with a little bit more making in it, then go and watch that video. This one was my Swans Are Swimming ornament, and this is one of my favourites, so I'm going to put this somewhere prominent. Let's go here, shall we? Gorge. This is a little onion boy ornament that I made a few years ago with a bead that was on a necklace that my gran gave me, and he's got a little reversible face. One side he's smiling, one side he's frowning, and yeah, his body is an onion, which I'm sure you'll agree is very festive. I like this one. Let's put you here. These are some nice little wooden vintage ornaments that I got from the charity shop. I think you could feasibly argue that these are Ralph Lauren Christmas, so we're very on trend. The boring regular baubles go mostly at the back. We can't afford to take up some of the premium spots with the less good ornaments. Perhaps quite nice though. Let's throw it there. My Emily in Paris ornament that I also made last year, which we can go here. This is a doll that some of my best friends brought me back from holiday, and we love her. She's gonna sit inside the tree here. Lovely. I know most YouTubers probably plan their Christmassy content way ahead of time so that it's ready to go up on December the 1st. But I'm not that well organised, and also I wasn't really planning on making this video. I just decided to do it on a little bit of a whim because I have a friend coming to stay this weekend and we're going to have a Christmas lunch together, which she has kindly offered to cook the whole thing of, which is great because I cannot and do not cook. So considering she's doing that, I thought the best I can do is make the mood festive. Also, it is already the 11th of December. I don't know when most people decide to decorate for Christmas. I tend to do it quite late because I don't want to have my tree up mid-November. That seems crazy to me. I also probably take it down a lot earlier than some other people too. Somewhere in between Christmas and New Year's, I start getting sick of looking at it because, to be honest, Christmas for me, and I know for a lot of other people, isn't as jolly of a time as what we're sold. I've spent a few Christmases now completely on my own, and I'm not fazed by that because to me it's just another day, but something about everyone around being extra happy and being with their loved ones and me not being, the comparison of that can be a bit jarring, especially because as soon as you get to December, people start asking you what you are doing for Christmas and are you ready for Christmas, etc, etc, and I usually think like, yeah, I'm ready for it to be over, to be honest with you. It can make me a little bit sad, and I think it has done actually now for the last 4 years since my granny passed away, because to me Christmas was always her. Like every Christmas we would go to her house and have the meal there, and she always made it really special and magical, and obviously I was a child then too. But yeah, since she passed, I do tend to get a resurgence of grief on Christmas Day just from thinking about her and reminiscing. And like I said, this is definitely not unique to me. The holiday season is difficult for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons, and there are also obviously lots of people who don't celebrate at all because of religion or any number of other reasons. So the fact that it is just like so ubiquitous and everywhere is just like a little bit irritating to me. But yeah, I'm excited to have this Christmas meal with my friend on the weekend, and Christmas Day itself I will be going to my boyfriend's family's house for lunch, which will be nice because my family don't live anywhere near here. But yeah, the Christmas blues, a tale as old as time. I do like this bit of it though, decorating and making everything look tacky, and I guess you've got to take your wins where you find them. I'd probably feel differently if I had children, because for children Christmas really is like a magical time. I remember thinking of it almost as like mythic when I was a kid, because it felt like it never happened, and then when it did you were like, oh my god, this thing that I felt like I dreamt actually is coming about, and people are going to give me presents and I can eat chocolate first thing in the morning every day of the month. That is a wonderful thing, but I am happily child-free, so I don't think I'll ever do like a big hosting Christmas. Also, I wouldn't want to do that anyway because, like I said, I can't cook, and I do resent the kind of expectation of Christmas as well. I think lots of women specifically see it as a time when they're really worn out and they've done all this prep for it, and then on the day they're doing more unpaid labour cooking for everyone and cleaning, wrapping presents late the night before. I think I'd find it quite irritating. And this time of year, like winter time when it's all bloody dark, you kind of just want to hibernate and not do a lot. I literally just finished making my hallway makeover part 2 video the other day and put that up, and I'm really glad that it's done because it took me so long and I was really up against it with the deadline. So now I'm just wanting to chill. And I also have to admit, one of the reasons why I'm making this video specifically is because I'd set myself a little challenge at the start of 2025 that I would make more videos this year than what I made in 2024, and I keep a log of all of the videos that I've made on a spreadsheet, and I was looking at it it the other day and I saw that last year I made 12 videos, and this year so far I've made 12 videos. And I was like, how have I failed at this goal? Let me just sneak in one more quick and easy video to wrap up the end of the year to make it into lucky number 13, and then hopefully next year, 2026, maybe we'll even punt for 14. Who knows? Lots of people do say in my comments that they would still watch like lower effort videos of mine, which I really appreciate, because sometimes I wonder whether I'm putting a little bit too much time and energy and emotion into my videos. But really I'm trying to create the things that I like to watch, which do tend to be longer, more in-depth projects. So yeah, this guy's just a lazy one. And I'm also seeing that my camera is about to overheat and shut off. So I'm going to carry on putting the rest of these decorations onto this tree, and then I'll show you how it's looking. All of the ornaments are on and it's looking suitably tacky. I would say we've got good coverage going up the whole tree. It's nice and full and festive. Look at that. Not too much green showing, which is how I like it. My gorgeous knickknacks all meshed in together, and like I said, once they are all in amongst themselves, the tree becomes a thing of its own, and all in all I'm pretty happy. So I did just realise that I had another decoration which I made this year, which I forgot to include because it was in my art room, and it is this super long woolen chain, which you would have seen if you watched my 10,000 subscriber Q&A, because I was putting it together, or part of it together, in that video. The whole thing took me quite a long time, even though I did not knit it myself. I just turned it into a chain myself, and this was supposed to be for the tree, but I forgot to put it on at the start, which would have been the optimum time to do it. So I was just thinking, where else in the flat could I put it, or do I want to put it? I'm going to put that long fabric tinsel in the hallway. And to be honest, there isn't anywhere else that I care for this to be. I don't really want my whole flat to be like Christmas overload. I quite like concentrating all of my tacky energy into this one location. So what I'm going to do is just generally drape this around in this area. Part of it on the tree, part of it on the painting, part of it on the top of that cupboard maybe. And yeah, see how that looks. I slot one of the links on there and then kind of drape it round a little bit, put it up here, put it up here, put it like this. We're going for avant-garde with this general display, and then that could go up on one of these. Yeah, that's alright. And now all this tree needs is, of course, something on the very top, and that I have right here. This is something that I made maybe 4 years ago, and it was notably one of the first paper mache projects that I made as an adult. And here she is. The face and the wings and the arms are plastic, and they were from one of those like traditional tree topper women that you get. I got her from a charity shop, and I took her dress off and dismantled her body, and then I paper mache'd a new one. She's wearing a pair of festive pajamas, some stripy socks, and her pajamas say Satan stop here, if you can see at that angle. And she's supposed to be holding a little phone, which I do have right here. It's supposed to be in her hand, but it fell off a number of years ago and I've just never reconnected it. But you can see she's supposed to be sitting like this, doing a bit of scrolling, looking at a video of some hellfire. So that's really nice. Can't be bothered to reattach the phone because you can't even see it once it's on the tree. But she goes right on the top via this hole in her ass. We shove her on there like so, and that's basically done. Let's turn the lights on. Yeah, that is what we call beige flannel Christmas. I'll show you up close the beauty of my tree. All of this. I'm jazzed about it. And as expected, it looks more or less the same as it has done for the last few years. But the way that it looks is exactly the way that I like it. And now we've got one more task to do, which is to take the remainder of my fabric tinsel out into my hallway and drape it beautifully on my banister railing, which I do think adds a certain festive cheer when you come into the flat. This one's so long though, it's a bit irritating to do. That'll do. I am seriously overheating in this hat, so I'm ready to take it off in a minute, but really pleased with my tree and the other stuff we've got going on. It's looking exactly as I knew it would. Pretty damn jazzy. Even though I'm not a particularly Christmassy person, I can't help but get into the festive spirit when I'm surrounded by tat like this. So I'm glad that I got it done today, and I'm really excited for my friend to come and visit and marvel at its beauty this weekend. And that, I think, is the end of this video. It's really novel for me to be doing a one take, one day filming video. I know that this has been quite chaotic and a lot less structured than my normal content, but like I was saying earlier, the winter period is a time for rest and recuperation. So I'm going to be doing just that for the next couple of weeks, and I will be back in 2026 with more content for you. If you are new here, I'd be surprised if you were for this video. Please do subscribe. Look through my older content to see the type of stuff I make on here. And if you're a returning watcher, thank you so much. I really am kind of amazed by the people who come back and watch my videos every time. It really is a blessing, and it keeps me motivated to keep making on this channel, and there will be plenty more of that to come in 2026. So I will see you next year, and for now I will say goodbye.